My guest today is Takhia Gaither, Takhia the Teacher. She's going to be talking about how to coach like a teacher, how to coach in a way that people really receive, that are able to implement. How can we facilitate conversations in a more meaningful way? So you're going to want to stick around for this. Welcome to the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host. I tried to launch my first coaching business in 2012, and I promptly went out of business after making only one sale. In 2015, I tried again, and I made 3 sales before going out of business. In 2018, I launched for the third time, and this time I did over $250,000 in revenue my first year. I've now worked with over 1,000 clients and had a sustained success in my business. This podcast is designed to help you do the same through high integrity sales, marketing, and business design strategies. Today, my guest is my friend, Takhia Gaither. Takhia is going to be speaking at Christian Coaches Academy live this summer. We hope that you'll come and join us and meet Takhia in person. It's going to be an amazing event. And Takhia is a teacher. She's a mom. She's an amazing leader in person. Takhia, thank you so much for being here with us on the
Thank you
show.
for having me. This is so exciting. I'm beyond bubbly. I'm trying to keep it all contained.
I was so excited when we talked a few months ago and you decided to sponsor and speak at the conference. Feels like it's a long time coming. We've known each other for a long time. How did
Yes.
we originally meet? Do you remember?
Random Facebook challenge A. I
Yes.
saw Christian coaches something another, and I was in between coming out of classroom teaching and moving into the lane of coach because I just started writing and people kept asking me, well, can you teach me how to write? Can you teach me how to
Mm.
write? I was like, oh, well, I guess that means I'll be a writing coach. And so I came across the challenge and I signed up. And then I just kinda stayed, and so every time I saw one, I would sign up again and figure out another part and sign up again and figure out another part and sign up again and figure out another part, and then I went back in the classroom, so I had to take a break, but I broke my hand in December, and lo and behold, the first thing I see again,
Hmm.
"Hey, the conference is coming around, and I have time this time." So what do? I signed up again and came back around again, and here we are.
Yes. So you've done some teaching, you've done some writing, you've done some coaching, you've done some writing coaching, you've done some teaching coaching.
Little bit of everything.
How do you define these different things? Like what's different about being a teacher versus being a coach versus being a writer?
Uh, to me, actually nothing.
Oh.
So what I ended up finding out was that when I moved from teacher to writer, I felt like I was moving into something different. And until I looked at the first couple of books that I'd written, they're all actually lesson plans written out. And so the same way that I proceeded about teaching math to 14-year-olds, I took the same approach to writing books. So the books start as something I need you to learn. And so because the basis of a lot of them was from traumatic life events. So I overcame high functioning depression. I overcame an abusive marriage, life after the abusive marriage, but everything turned into you can do it too. And
Hmm.
I'm not going to focus on all the bad stuff that happened. The bad stuff happened. We give it its space. We deal with it as it comes, but this is how you overcome that. And so because everything just turned into another lesson, like they all just started running together. So in my world, there is no difference. A teacher and a writer and a coach, all the same person. They're all elements of the same gift at work. It's
Love it.
just shown different ways.
I love it. Okay. So could we speak to the listener who maybe feels like they're a good coach, but they don't know how to write? They don't know how to teach or lead a group, or the person who maybe they feel like they know how to write, but they're
Mhm.
scared about the idea of teaching or coaching. Or maybe it's the person who's the great teacher, but they don't feel like they know how to coach or write. Like if somebody feels like they're in one of these 3 areas, they're a teacher, they're a coach, they're a writer, but they're scared of the other parts, what
Mhm.
would you tell them?
I would tell them first, it's gonna seem like really random, take a spiritual gifts test.
Hmm.
And the spiritual gifts test, while they're not like the ultimate authority, because you take the test and then you take the results to the Lord in prayer and say, hey, God, what am I supposed to do with these? But what the test will tell you where your dominant strength is. And it'll also help you realize why you're more comfortable in one than the other. So in
Hmm.
the season of life when I moved from teacher to writer, I was more comfortable as an exhorter. So writing became my top gift because it's just to speak well of the Lord and the things that he's done. So writing was my outlet for going through the depression, the divorce, and
Hmm.
all of the things. So I became an exhorter. So that became a top ranking gift. And teaching had dropped to 4th or 5th at that time. When I moved into coaching, teaching started creeping back up to the top. And I was like, well, but I'm not teaching anybody.
Mm.
And then I was working with a client and she said, yes, you are. You are actively teaching me how to write this book. And I said, huh? She said, every week we sit down, you are teaching me something different about how to get this whole book together. And she was one of the few people, one of the first people that said, you cannot run from it. Everything that comes out your mouth is a lesson.
Yeah.
And so pay attention to the things that other people say about you, because what tends to happen is coaching, writing, just being able to break things down in general. If you're a HR person and you're able to like train people on how to onboard and come into the job space and all of those things, it's still an element of a teacher. It just may not look like
Yeah.
the thing that you do. I was talking to my dad recently, who's taught me my whole life. So
Mhm.
I've always seen him as daddy the teacher, but he's not always seen himself as
Mm.
the teacher. He was doing an assignment. I'm teaching a class for teachers at my church, and my dad took the class because he was like, "Well, I'm gonna take it too, so everybody can say, yay, I took the class,' and all of that stuff." And he said, "But what I realized is that 30 years of job life, post office, he was a landscaper, he had his own business. Every position he was ever in, he was called on to teach other people,
Mm.
and had never actually pinpointed it to the fact that that was his dominant gift until he sat down and started writing about it." And said, "Are you serious, God? Like this whole time, that's really been the call on my life. Like I just didn't know that it applied to anywhere other than the four walls of the church, but he'd been doing it for like my entire life." And so to the person that doesn't feel like they're one of the other, just sit back, take a minute, journal it out. I'm all for writing everything. Like that's my
Mhm.
everything. Brain dump, write it all out. Write your thoughts out, write the prayers out, write the things out that other people say to you, and then just sit with it a little bit. Don't try to do anything with it. Don't try to decode it. Just sit
Mm.
and let it sink in and resonate. Pray it through, and when you come out, you'll be able to tell which direction you need to lean more towards and which season to lean into what when. Because
Mm.
there's always a time for everything. There's a time to outright teach. There's a time to be the coach and take people by the hand. There's the time to say, you know what? I'm not doing either of those things. I'm going to put it on paper and let you figure it out.
Yeah.
And God has a way of just highlighting which one you're supposed to do at the time that you're supposed to do it. And then there will come a point in time when he says, "Okay, now do all 3." And you're like, "At the same time?" And he says, "Yes." And you're just like, "Oh, well, all right then." And so that's where I am now.
That's where you are now, that's right. I love what you're highlighting about your dad, daddy the teacher, and it's a
Mhm.
great point, and it reminds me, that as a father myself, like, I'm a teacher to my kids, and, for all
Mhm.
the parents listening, you're a teacher, you're a coach to your kids. Like that's how God designed us. And if you're not a parent, it's likely that you're a teacher, you're a coach to friends and others that you mentor
Mhm.
and people in your church and community in different ways. So that's a great way to remind us to take on that identity as well. And the
Mhm.
truth is, Jesus was a teacher. He
Yep.
he was called rabbi by his followers and by the disciples. They called him rabbi, which means teacher.
Mhm.
And if we're to be disciples of Jesus and to live like him, teaching, coaching, writing, sharing, all of this really fits in what it looks like to be a
Mhm.
disciple of Jesus and to
Yep.
live like him. You shared before that teaching, coaching, writing, it starts with a lesson plan. And what you're going to talk about at our conference is how to coach like a teacher. And so you've got an acronym that
I do.
explains some of that. Could you share with our audience what this looks
So
like?
my acronym is literally the word teach, and it stands for transform, equip, apply, cultivate, and honor.
Hmm.
And so each different piece of it is a different part of what then becomes your lesson plan. So the transformation part is just thinking about what exactly do you want somebody to get out of what it is. For equipping, what do you want them to do? Either with what do you want them to do with the transformation? Do after it? What should they be doing before it? It's all the things that go into making up that part. Apply is how you actually get them to that point. So you have your objective, you have some things to do. Now we have to figure out what to do to make the T and the E happen.
Hmm.
Cultivate is what it all looks like when it comes together. So how do you bring in all the pieces so that the person that you're working with gets it all? And then honor is the part that as teachers, we leave off all the time. because we don't take the time to think about what went well.
Hmm.
We always focus on the thing that you missed, the thing that, "Oh, man, I shoulda said this. Oh, we shoulda did this activity. Oh, I think that went terribly." But the honor part makes you sit down and quiet yourself and say, "Okay, these are the things that went good. Now when I look at the things that didn't go so well, what was the turn that I could have taken to alter it?" Or maybe it just wasn't the right activity for that group of people. But
Huh.
it's the time for you to sit and reflect and honor yourself for having done it, honor God for giving you the strength to get through it, and then honor what you do.
Huh.
Because we're so self-critical at times that we don't take the time to say, "Oh, I did good. Like, that
Yeah.
actually went well." And so it forces you to sit and say, "Okay, I did okay on this. This was awesome, but I do need some help right here." And then make it okay to say, "I need more development." Because as a
Right.
teacher, you're always gonna learn. As a coach, if your coach doesn't have a coach, I find that to be problematic.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love Justin, because Justin was one of my first coaches,
Mhm.
because my coach needed a coach and he had coaches and he had people that he went to. So, it's a reputable line. Somebody has to hold you accountable. And people that just kind of run rogue are generally people that don't do any of the four things that we got before honor. They just throw stuff out there. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. When you see people do that on TV and see if
That's
it
right.
sticks, that's what you end up doing. But when you take the time to actually go through and figure out what you want them to do, what does that look like? How does that look? What are all the things involved? When they get good and going, what should they be able to see? Because it's not just about what they're doing inside the program. They're going to want to know, when I come out of this, what am I supposed to be able to do with it? What is it going to look like? I teach 8th graders math. They
Mm.
already don't want to be there. So the question that I get most times of the day is, when am I going to use this in life?
Yeah.
And when I can pull up like they call it, the rabbit out the hat of where it actually shows up in life, they're usually like jaw dropped and like in awe of anywhere that you can use algebra and not literally be sitting there and say, "Well, X equals 5." And
Yeah.
no, you'll just be able to do it. You'll be able to think through it. And even if you can't get to the right number, you'll be able to think through the process. So you'll know that when somebody's telling you something off, now you know it's off because you know the process of how to get from A to Z. And so it's the same thing with being a coach. If you know where you started, you have to map out to Z before you get in front of your client
Yes.
so that they can feel the transformation. Because if it doesn't transform you, it's not going to do anything for them either.
Hmm. It's really good, really good. Yeah, it's making me think of the success path, drawing that's part of like where you have a lesson plan, you've got a curriculum, you've got a plan of how they can get to from A to Z. That's the success path for your clients. And so it
Mhm.
makes it so easy for them to see, okay, I'm starting here. Here's what we're going to go through. I'm going to do this and then this and then this and then this, and then I'm going to have this. And so there's a clear why. And that's so good. And I love that you brought up, teachers need teachers and mentors need mentors and coaches need coaches. It's so important for all of us who are wanting to teach, coach, and lead others to be a great student too, and to be
Mhm.
receiving and learning and growing. So I love that you brought that in. I'm going to say it one more time: teach, transform, equip, apply, cultivate, and honor. So good, Takia. I'm excited for you to unpack that more at the conference and talk to people about building out their lesson plan.
Mhm.
If somebody's listening to this and they want to build a curriculum for like a group coaching training kind of program, if you could give them one or two quick tips on that. I know there's more, but
Yes.
what could you share that could help somebody get started on building out their lesson plan?
A quick tip, they always tell you in teaching, like, begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
What's the end result that you want to happen?
Hmm.
And then from the end result, think backward.
Yeah.
So, I do it all the time with math problems, and I can't explain it very well, but I can do it like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
I'll see it objective, and I'll know at the end, I want them to be able to graph a system of equations. Well, before they can graph the system of equations, can they graph, period? Let's start there.
Mm,
Do we know how to draw lines? Do we know how to plot points? Do we know how to connect dots?
mm,
Like the little things, you start picking it down piece by piece of what they're gonna need to get to that end result. A lot of
mhm.
times as coaches, as teachers, as just people who God gives, like, the big ideas to, we get the big idea all day. But those very little teeny details in the middle or even at the beginning are the things that we just we don't think about them because they come natural to us.
Yeah.
We don't think about all the little things that it takes to get to ooh, the big idea. We see the big idea, we're like, "Okay, boom, I need this, and this," and we're off.
Yeah.
Most people don't think like that, though. Most people need, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. If we're at A and we're on capital A, I am at the other end and I'm on negative lowercase a." And like, there's no such thing as a negative letter, but that's the actuality of where people start on scales. And it has nothing to do with, intellect or anything else. It's just the average person everybody thinks through things differently. And
Yeah.
so when you're wired to think a certain way, I'm a mathematician. Like I'm full of problems and I'm full of solutions. That's
Yeah.
just the world I live in. But that's not everybody's world they
Yeah.
live in. People are linguists, people are verbalists, people are writers, people do different things. Some people have to like touch it, feel it, find something tactile. Like it's all the different things
Mm.
coming together. And so once you begin with the end in mind, you have to trace your steps backward and move back to every little piece. So when you get to a part, say, okay, this is the end, and then this is the part right before the end. Now, how did I get here? And you just keep moving backward until you get to the very base level thing. And it'll take you some time to do that. Don't feel like you have to do it all in one day, because that's the other part. We feel like we get these big ideas and we ready to throw it in AI and it'll give us the whole plan from A to Z and all of the things. And AI is great. I am learning to love it as a tool and as an assistant and to do some other things. But the results that you get from AI should not be your only result.
Mhm.
They are the things that it gives you out and use it as a springboard.
Mhm.
So you read it and you look at it and you pray about it and then dive in and pick things apart because it's not gonna give you the whole picture either. It's gonna give you the picture from all of the things that it's researched on the back end to spit you out this information. But
Mhm.
that's a whole conversation for it. I can go on about that one for
Yeah.
hours. Love it as a
Uh,
tool, love the things, but people's uses of it drive me up a wall.
right. Gotta use it the right way. Well,
Yes.
I love what you're sharing there. It's timely for me because I was talking with my team earlier today about an offer that we have, and we're
Mhm.
trying to revise the offer a little bit and make it more ideal for our most ideal clients. So what we're talking about is what's the promise? Like what's the end outcome? What do they really want? What do we want to deliver? And then the question becomes, well, what do we have to teach? What do we need to have in the curriculum? What does the plan need to look like? Where they're starting from? What's that success path from the starting
Mhm.
point to the end outcome. And so I think that's so timely for me. And it's a good reminder and a good conversation, important for everyone listening to this. And,
Mhm.
whether you're a teacher, trainer, coach, whatever it is that you kind of identify as, for you to know who your ideal client is, what problem you're trying to help them solve, and what the path is. And I love that you just highlighted like the small steps that need to be taken for
Mhm.
us not to forget what it was like to be new, not to forget
Mhm.
what it was like to not know, and
Yes.
to break it down into the smallest little tactical pieces is so important. This is
Mhm.
great stuff. I really want everyone to come meet Takia in person. She's
Yeah.
bringing her kiddos to the conference, so it's going to be a family affair. You can meet the whole Gaither family.
Yes.
Come join us. Sign up for the conference. If you're not signed up yet, it's July 15th through 17th. It's in Milwaukee. We're going to have close to 100 Christian coaches at the event. We've got amazing speakers lined up. We've got an amazing couple of musical artists as well. It's going to be like being at a concert, being at a conference. You're going to get to be mentored and poured into, and you're going to get to receive and give as well. It's going to be an amazing, amazing event. We'd love for you to join us. You can find out more at www.f2itribe.com/CCA Live 2026. We're going to put in the show notes. That's F, the number 2, the letter I, tribe.com/CCA Live 2026. Come join us. Come meet Takhia the teacher. Come learn more about how to build your lesson plan, how to teach, or excuse me, coach like a teacher. And if you're interested in learning more about Takhia, you can look her up as Takhia the Teacher or Takhia Gaither online. She's on social media, and you can check out her new app at takhia.online. That's TAKHIA.online. Takhia, thank you so much. You're a
Thank
great teacher, a great mom, a great person. I'm so excited to spend some time with you together at the conference in a couple of months. God bless
Looking
you.
forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.